If your kids or students are constantly moving around or playing with objects, get up out of their seat all the time, begging for attention, even though they have a very low attention span, then you're in the right place, because we're going to be talking about positive discipline in early childhood education. And I'm going to give you some techniques for dealing with kids that can't seem to sit still. So stick around. Hi, I'm Adriana, the creator of the English is Fun method. Welcome back to my channel, where you could find tips and tricks for teachers of English to young learners. Every teacher has at least one child like this in the classroom. They pester other kids and they have difficulty accepting limits. These kids tend to fall behind in their schoolwork and as a result tend to not like school very much. And their behavior is not just limited to the classroom. Even at home, they're in constant motion. They can't sit through a favorite cartoon or TV show without fiddling with their hands or eating or getting up every 2 minutes. Other children tend to misbehave as well, and parents feel quite aggravated because setting rules and standards becomes quite difficult. However, because this behavior tends to raise the stress level of those around the child, it can make other children avoid this child, simply because jealousy can arise, as parents or teachers tend to pay more attention to the problem child, thinking that there is a behavior to correct. While a little dose of ants in the pants, as my mom used to call it, is normal due to the child's inquisitive nature, young age and low attention span, and just the energy that most kids have, too much of this ants in the pants can be an indication that there is something else. Hyperactivity, real hyperactivity, is usually a physical problem. It's not about acting naughty or acting in a certain way. It's actually the child not being able physically to sit still. If you feel that your kid's level of ants in the pants is inadequate for their age or stage of development, you need to dive deeper. Talk to these kids' parents. Find out if the children act like this at home as well. And if so, why? Is there something going on? Is there a stressful situation or event that they're going through? If the parents are also concerned and they haven't done so already, encourage them to talk to the child's healthcare provider. Because like I said, this is a physical problem, so it's important that the doctor knows. Speak to other teachers if you can. Find out if what you're noticing in the child is happening in other classes as well, or is it just limited to your class? Okay, so meanwhile, in the classroom, what can we do? First of all, we have to remember we want to make improvement our goal. These kids are usually kinesthetic learners, which means they are children that learn better when they move around. So try to assign them activities that will allow them to move around. And when that is not possible, assign tasks that are brief and have short-term goals. So kind of like mini tasks, because that will give them a higher chance of success because you are respecting, shall we say, their low attention span. When they do succeed, you need to reward them. And one of the best ways to reward them is with movement. Yep, that's right. Allow them to move around. Sometimes teacher helper tasks like distributing materials or collecting materials is really appreciated by these kids, because they are kids that usually get the teacher's negative attention. So by being the helper and they feel proud of their work and they feel appreciated, this is really going to work in your favor. Remember to communicate these kids in a quiet, calm, and patient way. Any other way, especially impatience or yelling, it's going to backfire. Nonverbal communication works very effectively with these kids too. A quiet tap on the shoulder or just a smile and phrase like, hey, take it easy, is well accepted by these kids because they are not humiliating. Never humiliate these kids, either when you are alone with them or when they're in front of their friends. When they do get carried away, and it will happen, they might, yell out in classroom, hey, calling out to a friend, or they might push somebody when they're standing in line. When that does happen, remember it's an act of impulse. It's nothing other than that. It's simply a momentary lack of control. So treat it as such. Don't turn it into something that it's not. It's not about being bad or being naughty. It's simply an impulsive act that they cannot control. So it does go corrected, but don't make it a bigger issue than it actually is. And whatever you do, don't let just a few occurrences here and there brand your child. Remember, if we see the child as being this way or being that way, they will be that way. Being hyperactive is not a choice. Remember, these kids are not acting this way to get on your nerves. So don't assume that they can just change their behavior. But you know what? You can. And if you want to change their behavior, you've got to start by changing your own. So why don't you head on over to this video over here for some more positive discipline techniques to help you out with your kids. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.